just unbelievable. I'm a fan for life.
Hello, everybody. This is Daniel Ott, host of the Edge radio broadcast. You know what's making this show such a success is people like you, our loyal listeners. Tell a friend about the show. Call or email your local radio stations and tell them about the show. Let your local radio stations know that the Edge is a free broadcast with some of the most important interviews of our time. Micro broadcasters to giant radio stations can all broadcast the Edge for free. Tell them to upgrade their program lineup and get the Edge on the air in your area. I'm Daniel Ott, discovering the truth together on the Edge radio broadcast.
Tune in, buckle up, and get ready for a ride on the Edge radio broadcast. Your mission commander, Daniel Ott.
Radio broadcast. My name is Daniel Ott, and you can expect the best in guest every Saturday night. Don't forget our Thursday show from the UK studios with Andy Bradford. If you'd like to be a correspondent, go ahead and go to the Edge's website after the program and sign up. We will give you your own bio page and your own Edge email address and Edge business cards as well. Looking for more ways to include you, our faithful listeners. Don't forget to make your contribution to the Edgepedia. We have more incredible changes coming to the website in the near future. Don't forget, next week, David Overton will be talking about what our first hour guest briefly mentioned, near-death experiences. And February 23rd, Dr. Jonathan Hansen. Pastor Harry coming back in March. Mike Lucas of Satan's Government on the 15th of March. Rick Hayes coming in. Got a lot of great guests. We haven't discussed a topic that you'd like to hear about after the program. Drop us a line and we'll see if we can talk about what you're interested in. This entire broadcast will be put up on the Edge's website tomorrow, free of charge for you to download, email, burn, put down in the podcast form, and hey, download it onto your cell phone. Those of you that have the advanced technology, probably some of the technology that was gleaned from the space program. There's more to science than Tang. I'm sure NASA brought us a lot of interesting things. We're going to find out here in the second hour. Now let's go back to our newsmaker line and bring Dr. Edgar Mitchell back on. Doctor, welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. Daniel, by the way, a little, speaking of this, little sayings, one of my favorites is, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room.
Amen. I got to give you an amen on that. That's great. That's right, man. I mean, I think everyone needs to sort of to look in new directions and see what's out there. And then obviously you were fortunate enough to look out there from the view of space. And when you're looking back at the Earth and you see its marvel of complexity, you know, I could see whether there's a mystical thing or not. I would have some sort of experience.
Sure. Well, you know, and even in the beginning of the space program, Buckminster Fuller made the observation that we're the crew of a spaceship Earth, but we're a crew in mutiny, and how can you run a spaceship with a mutinous crew? And that's still some pretty good observation.
Well, you know what? Those one-liners are awesome because I have found over time that it seems, in my opinion, that the brain has memory hooks, and something that is most original or fascinating is the thing that's going to get hung on that that memory hook. And if it's blasé, really doesn't mean much, and chances are it'll just go by the way.
That's right.
And speaking of the way, we're talking about your book, The Way of the Explorer. Is there any way for the rest of us that are not involved or haven't been involved with the NASA space program, is there some way that we can find these sort of metaphysical experiences and feelings of ecstasy, Doctor?
Of course. And I think that the earliest work in the Western culture, I think, began with Elmer Green and biofeedback studies some 40 years ago. And there has been technologies that have developed over the years. In addition to biofeedback, holotropic breathing by Stanislav Grof is another one. But the ancient meditation techniques espoused, all of the great traditions have their own form of meditation. But the most popular one is, I think, Maharishi's approach, who just passed away recently, transcendental meditation. But all of these traditions have their own approach to meditation, and they do produce the sort of mindset that is necessary, I believe, to start to see very clearly in the ways you're talking about here.
So there's hope for the rest of us who can't get on the space program. Hey, here's something. Hey, you're just the guy I want to talk to, I'm sure. Do you keep up with events at NASA? To
a certain extent, I'm not on it. That's not my main thing, is staying right up with it.
Yeah.
But I am on the board of the Astronaut Scholarship Fund. I'm up at Cape Kennedy quite frequently in that regard, and I do stay abreast, but I'm not deep into the details.
Okay, just a couple of questions, and you may not be able to answer these, and so don't worry about it if you don't. In fact, any question that's asked on this program, you're not expected to answer every question, many guests think that they're expected to, and just simply not. But I read recently that the computer-generated model of the next moon rocket would vibrate so much on the launch pad it would blow apart. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that one, but it's I haven't kept up with the engineering details.
Yeah, well, that was
some of the people I communicate with do, but I haven't stayed abreast of it.
Yeah, I read that on Yahoo Tech News is what I get it. I'm sure you probably may not have heard of that. But in that report it said, but NASA expects their computer models to come up with an answer to remedy that vibration that they're seeing in the new design. But I was just wondering, why would they have such a problem with vibration, and even suggesting that the rocket could explode on the launch pad due to this vibration? Why couldn't they just use the plans for the Apollo 14? That never had any problems like that.
Because we've got to go beyond that and try to use some of the modern. Remember, we went to the moon on some pretty bare technology back in those days, and let's hope that we've invented some new stuff. Even though it is quite true that the basic design very much resembles the in-orbit capsules that we used back then. And that is because, you see, we really don't need flying machines like the shuttle. The shuttle was designed to come back into Earth atmosphere and to exit and be a truck going into space. And if we're really going to do deep space exploration, you don't need flying machines, you need space machines.
How many times did NASA send a rocket to the moon?
Well, we had let's see, including 13 and including 8 and 10. We had 12. I'm trying to compute here. We had 6 flights to the moon that landed, and then one that didn't, and 2 preceding that, 8 and 10.
Okay, I was just saying, it sounded like the rocket was pretty sound. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept using it. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Saturn V was a magnificent machine.
Okay, and then there's just one other kind of a brush-up question about that. Last year, again, I don't expect you to know, but maybe you do. But NASA said that they lost 600 boxes of original pristine color video, but they were going to send somebody to find them. Do you know if they ever found those boxes of missing NASA video?
I heard that same story. I think part of that's been found, but I haven't checked on it recently.
Man, I mean, if NASA is losing boxes of sacred video from the American government standpoint, man, I mean...
governments have big warehouses up there.
Okay, well, that doesn't seem to be something they ought to be messing around with. That seems like that's in public domain, and that we don't, when people don't appreciate that, they need to tidy that up. So pass that along to them for me, will you?
We're seeing a lot of things disappearing out of government these days. It should be public domain.